So finally here I am, I'm doing The Watermelon, and it feels like a real film. It feels like a film that people might actually want to see.
I was totally smitten by the light, goofy, amiable charm of it all. It was a sweet, funny script about goofball people dealing with things in the kind of goofy way that people do deal with things, and I really like that.
Me. Yeah, you. Dude, I get laid.
So thinking of how, I was thinking of, well, how can I write a script that I could shoot in San Diego that'd be cheap with limited locations, and then a week or so later I started thinking about a trailer and the weird people.
Mike sent the script, we read it that night. It made me laugh on the first page with the image of Creon peeing out the window.
For me, the story is about forgiveness. It's about a young man who has something thrust into his life that he doesn't want from somebody that was part of his life that he never really bonded with. And by accepting it, I think he kind of was saying, I forgive you for not being the person that I really needed in my life at the time you were there, but now I kind of understand you better. I kind of get who you were and why you did the things you did.
I've done a film that I think there is an audience for, and a film that is very accessible and grown up. It's a grown-up sort of fairy tale, I guess is the best way to describe it. Very quirky kind of love story, which I like. It's not sentimental. It's goofy. And yet it's sort of centered in a kind of reality, a kind of angst that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Willow Hale as the mother. You know, I had to call her up. Willow's an amazing actress. When we had done Trojan Women, she had been our choice for Hecuba. And my God, is she good. She's just really, really something. And I called her up and I said, you know, I've got good news. I'm making a movie and there's a role for you. I've got bad news. You're one of the best actresses I know. And there's no dialogue for you.
I just want to say something about Willow. I think that there's a certain karma in place with Willow because years ago we did Trojan Women together with 4 weeks' notice. And she memorized the role of Hecuba, which has more lines than Oedipus, in less than 4 weeks.
When the swift winged Hellene ships sailing from their landlocked ports through the salt sea's purple glow swooped on sacred Ilion, shrill triumphant from 1,000 flutes and pipes rose their martial music.
And so now in this film she has one line.
But she is so spooky and so powerful and so magnetic in that role. I'm really glad I cast her, and hopefully next time she'll get to do some lines for us. She's absolutely wonderful.
I didn't write that in the script for an actress to play both the ex-wife and Antigone. You know, that was Brad and Lori's idea to double cast that, and I think it worked out great. It added a new dimension, and most people who see it don't realize that Elise is playing both parts until they're told, or until they see the screen credits and they go, oh, that's the same actress.
Doing the 2 roles in The Watermelon was a real opportunity for me, and it's something that in theater we do all the time. You're always running backstage and changing wigs and changing something coming on, but you've got that suspension of disbelief in the theater, which you don't have the luxury of in the films.
So I said, look, this has got to work. You've got to come up with 2 distinctive characters. You know, you've got to be able to pull it off. You've got to be able to fool the audience. Otherwise, I'm going to just have to, you know, take one of the roles away. And I knew she would be incredibly angry if I did that. So I was under extreme pressure here. So I put the pressure on her. Gallant individual that I am.
So I got out my little recorder and I played with a couple of voices, and I called Brad and I said, what if she sounds a little like Lena Lamont? And there was a silence on the other end of the phone for a minute, and then he said, okay, now what I'm concerned about, and then went into a few of his own concerns. He didn't want it to be a caricature, which I completely agreed with.
Imagine my surprise. Imagine my shock. Imagine the look on my face when I saw you in possession of my daddy's property. How did this happen, I wonder? How did Achilles steal what's mine? And it is mine, kid brother. It's mine because I painted that heap of shit.
I'm in awe of her. She's just such a refined human being. She's so smart. And she's so weird. I mean, she is really weird. But in a way that is, well, kind of awe-inspiring.
Elise is one of the finest actresses I know. And the fact that she was able to take on those two roles and play them in such discord from one another that, you know, it was really fabulous. A lot of people watch the film and they don't know it's the same actress. She really revs it up for the character of Antigone and plays it, you know, full tilt. And then as the ex-wife, she just comes off as demanding and overbearing, but at the end she, you know, she turns out that she, you know, sort of saves her husband or ex-husband, and you know, she's the thing that sort of lets him propel and get on with his life.
The table reads were a blast. Julia Axe, who played the artist, was pretty young. She was 16. And I went into it thinking Brad was maybe going to have to hold her hand a little bit, because Elise and Kirsten are two of the best actresses that I've ever worked with. Both of them can do anything, even though they're both completely different. And from the very first, Julia held her own with those people, which was really, really gratifying.
Oh, top of the morning to you, Mr. Pumpkin Seed.
How do you know my name?
It's on your mailbox. It's on your mailbox.
Oh. What are you doing?
Moving in.
No, you are not.
Of course I am. Yes, I am.
I was a little nervous about doing this with Julia because, you know, it's kind of grown-up stuff. And I know her parents very well. They're both professional musicians. They're both incredibly fine musicians. And I just don't want to piss them off, you know. Sure, I did a few times. Ex-wife pulls up in the car, gets out, walks up to him.
What are you doing, Achilles? What are you doing, Achilles?
Oh. Hi.
Where did you get this thing? Where did you get this thing?
Make sure that when you walk in, it's all about the watermelon.
You've lost it, haven't you? You have finally gone off the deep end. I knew this was going to happen sooner or later. I come back into town and find some little bitch working at the store and you playing bohemian artiste.
I like it.
And that's where the beat changes, and now it's about him.
Okay.
The reason you were having a problem was that the delineation wasn't clear. So go back to the top. We got it?
Mike Ivey did a fine job. He plays a blind man that can drive, which is a feat upon itself. And he also is the messenger of the film, much like Homer in the old days of the Iliad.
My name is Homer.
Yeah.
I am on a mission.
Yeah?
Biggest one of my life, it seems.
Even when he doesn't speak, when he's in a scene, you just feel like he's driving that scene. He's making that scene work.
Bob Golub had done a documentary about his father, who was this incredibly abusive alcoholic, and I knew that he could do Creon really well, and he did. That scene with his with Achilles' mother is all improvised, and you know, what an amazing scene that is. So that's how Bob came to be.
Patroclus is he's funny. He's the Laurel to Achilles' Hardy. He's the abbot to his Costello. The two of them together are just, it's a dynamic that really works, and it's fun. It's fun to watch those two play off of each other.
Will did not start off playing the role of Achilles. He was going to play the role of Thanatos, but at the first table read, Will and Kirsten started talking, and I remember watching them walk down the aisles, and there were just sparks flying between them. You could just see the sparks flying, and that's irreplaceable. You either have that or you don't.
Stay away from me!
Whoa, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Who the hell are you?
I should be asking you that.
You first.
I'm the guy who owns this hotel room you decided to stay in.
Yeah, and I'm the girl that's been crashing here la-di-da.
How long?
How long what?
How long have you been in here?
2 or 3 days, maybe 4, probably 3. I don't know. How should I know? Days, weeks, months? What's the difference?
I never noticed.
I think Kirsten, who comes off as sort of a plain and ordinary woman, just sort of personifies the beauty of the inner nature of people. She's just so innocent. She goes through hell and high water and comes out on the other end smelling like a rose. And I'll always remember the scene on the beach where she's doing her little dance and the little bubbles are floating through the air around her. And it was just such a beautiful scene, and it just sort of displayed the innocence of her being.
One thing that needs to be mentioned here is that we had a really, really marvelous little crew. Lawrence Malloy, our director of photography, Larry Malloy, is just an astonishingly brilliant guy. He's a real Renaissance man, and he's a musician, he's a photographer, he's got his fingers in everything. His sense of composition and framing shots is really quite wonderful. He combines a sense of pastoralism with an utterly contemporary vision. His ability with color is first rate. It's impossible to overestimate his contribution. And we had a really, really great camera operator, Justin Talley. He's a very, very smart man. I think he's got an amazing future. And Brian Volkerdine came with them. He was part of the camera team technically, but he was also an assistant editor to me, and also very indispensable. He's been very generous with his time, and he's a friend, and I really appreciate him. The whole crew, Greg, our sound man, Maria Camacho, our costume designer, we call her the Camacho, everyone, all of you, just thanks. It was a great crew. We had a wonderful set, and I'm sure we're all going to have pretty good memories about this.
Bunny Slippers were in the original script, although the March of the Bunny Slippers wasn't there. But Achilles is running around in bunny slippers from the very beginning, and being somebody who loves the nonsense of stuffed animals, that was just irresistible for me. There are two characters that I haven't mentioned up until now that make frequent appearances in the movie, and they want a little screen time here as well, so I thought I'd introduce them. This is Grace. She's my baby duck. She's tremendously literate. Every now and then she sneaks onto a plane and flies to Paris. And then this is Harvey, my blue bunny. And Harvey comforts me when I don't feel good. He's very good, very sweet, well-behaved bunny, although Grace misbehaved a little bit on the set. Grace was actually almost in the final shot when the two characters got killed, but the cameraman rooted her out at the last minute so she didn't show up. So, there they are.